What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So I want to do this video because I just got done watching the first two episodes of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and this has been something that I've been really looking forward to. Probably my most anticipated thing. This and Avatar 2 has been like my most anticipated thing to watch for a long time. Ever since I knew there was going to be a Lord of the Rings series, I've been proper hyped. Lord of the Rings, I say this all the time. Those of you that have been following me for a while probably heard me say this relentlessly throughout my videos, but I absolutely love Lord of the Rings. It's my most favorite thing ever. The original trilogy is my most favorite thing ever. I've only seen the movies. I have absolutely zero idea about the books. I haven't read the books. I'm starting to listen to audiobooks and listen to different YouTubers talk about the lore of Tolkien and Middle-earth. There's an amazing YouTube channel. Go check it out if you want to listen to just really well-made videos about Middle-earth. There's a YouTube channel called Nerd of the Rings. I've just come across this channel. Great channel. And yeah, I'm getting to learn a lot more about Tolkien's actual writing and the stories in Middle-earth. So yeah. Anyway, so I've started to learn a little bit more, but I only really know Middle-earth because of Peter Jackson's movies, and for me, they are the best things I've ever seen. I absolutely love it, and obviously Peter Jackson has set such a high bar for Middle-earth and for what we now think and feel of Lord of the Rings and Middle-earth. Well, for people that have only seen the movies, we expect a certain type of thing now when it comes to Lord of the Rings. Because the bar's been set, and that's it. Like, anyone else who's going to try and do anything to do with Middle-earth or Lord of the Rings, they have to try and reach that bar. You just have to. You've got to try and at least be as good as that, or come at least as close as possible. It can't just be like, all right, it's got to be really good if you're going to do Lord of the Rings. So, I've got a really itchy nose for some reason. I don't know why, so if I itch my nose all the way through this, I apologize. So anyway, going back to Lord of the Rings. Going into this, I was proper nervous. I was actually really worried because, like I said, it's one of my most beloved things is Lord of the Rings, and the trailers just wasn't really that good. I just wasn't impressed that much with the trailers. Yeah, it looked, visually it looked amazing. Yes, we're back in Middle-earth. It's exciting. We've got some of the main characters there, which is also really exciting. But it just didn't grab me in the way that I wish it did. I feel like the music was a big part of that. The music just was not good in any of the trailers. Just did not find the music that good. Also, like, it feels like this is very clean. Like, everything looks a bit too clean, which I'm going to go into more in a moment. But just based on the trailers, I was like, okay, it looks amazing, but it just feels it feels like Middle-earth, kind of, because we're seeing some visuals that look like Peter Jackson's shots, but it doesn't really feel like how I would want it to feel, and I'm not getting sucked in like I wish I was, and the music just doesn't feel right for it. We've got Lord of the Rings to go off, and we know what the music's like in that. It's unbelievable. It's like my most favourite score ever. I mean, it's gonna be because I'm biased to the movie, but it is an amazing score. We've got so many amazing themes for different environments, like the Shire, or Mordor, or like when we see Gollum, or whatever. There's always like amazing like musical themes that sort of blend into each other for each shot that moves through Middle-earth. And it's like this theme that changes for every single area, and it's so iconic, and they stand out so much to each other that, like, I expected the show to have that. And in the trailers, there was none of that at all. And even one of them had, like, some weird generic pop song, which I was like, who's decided on that? Like, that is such a bad choice. And that worries me because that's someone behind the show going, yeah, this is a good idea, when it proper isn't at all. So it did worry me. Anyway, the show came out on Friday. I got me and all my friends together who have got virtual reality, and I hosted a room in a thing called Big Screen Beta. For those of you who don't have VR and you don't know what Big Screen Beta is, it's a virtual cinema that you can host your own cinema rooms. You have all these different environments, like in space, you have a huge cinema screen in space, or you can have it in a proper cinema, like a grand cinema, or old school cinema, like a retro cinema. You can have a modern cinema, drive-through cinema. You can have it in a camp, by a campfire in the woods. It's amazing, and you can invite all your friends to it. You can see each other. You can see each other's avatar, and you can stream whatever you want from your computer to the cinema and watch movies together. So I streamed the first 2 episodes to the cinema in VR, and me and my friends watched both episodes twice. So we were in there for 4 hours watching Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, first 2 episodes, and I have to say, I absolutely loved it. I really did enjoy these first 2 episodes, and I came out really confused why people hate it so much. I actually find it difficult to understand why people actually think it's the worst thing ever. People are saying it's a catastrophe. There's articles and write-ups and reviews saying it's a catastrophe, the worst thing ever. I genuinely do not know why people think it's that bad. What I will agree with is the people who know the Tolkien lore and the Lord of the Rings lore through the books and know Tolkien's work. I don't know it, but for the people that do, I understand why they'll be pissed off, because I know that Amazon have changed loads of stuff. They haven't included a lot of stuff. A lot of things are different, but that's because Amazon don't have the rights for the first age or the third age, only for the second age, and I think they only have the rights to certain things. So they are limited to what they can do. They do have the freedom to change some stuff. But they have changed a lot of stuff in this so far. There's a lot of events that have happened already in the first 2 episodes that's missing certain things. The maps, for example, are missing significant important places like Valerian or someplace. I can't remember what it's called. It sounds like Valerian to, I don't know. You guys can let me know if you know. But yeah, it's missing things and people are really annoyed. I get that and I agree with them. If I knew the lore inside out and this show's just messing with it, it would piss me off like the Halo series. Really, really pissed me off. It was just not good, was it, at all? And that's because I know Halo very, very well, and they changed so much, it just wasn't Halo. It didn't feel like Halo. They just ruined it, and I totally get it because I experienced that with Halo, so I'm totally understanding of how some people just are not going to be happy with this, and that's totally fine. But for me, from a Lord of the Rings fan, just because of Peter Jackson's movies, he changed a lot of stuff. He created new characters and situations and storylines throughout the 6 movies that he made, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I had no idea because it was just my first introduction to Middle-earth and I loved it. This, again, for me, is all new to me. I don't know the story. I don't know Galadriel's background. I don't know Elrond's background. It's all new to me and I find it very exciting. So when I watched this, I enjoyed all of it. Really all of it, and I was really confused when I finished watching it why people are really, really hating it, like absolutely hating it. A lot of people are saying that the first episode was really, really boring and slow. I disagree. I definitely would agree that it was a bit slow. It was definitely not boring. Like, for a start, right, there's all these new characters. They're very interesting characters. They all have interesting storylines, some more interesting than others, which I'll talk about more in a moment, but we're in Middle-earth. This looks better than pretty much everything that we've seen, especially on TV. I haven't seen anything that looks as epic and as grand and as big on scale and visually stunning as this. It's a gorgeous looking show. It looks amazing. There's so much talent been put into the costume design, the set pieces. The CGI is incredible. Just the environments, the whole like scale of it is just so big. It just looks amazing. And there is a lot of talent and time been put into this, and I really, really do appreciate when I'm sat just looking around at it. So the times when it was slow, I didn't find it boring. I found it interesting. I really enjoyed the time that we had with the characters in them slow moments. You've got these amazing environments that we're just in. We're in Middle-earth. It's like the most interesting fantasy world ever written. It's just so interesting. The whole world's so interesting and rich. It's just, I just love being in it. So I can sit there whilst it's slow and maybe a bit boring for ages because I just love being in Middle-earth. So for me personally, I didn't find it boring. I didn't find it slow. I understand why some people might think that's totally fine. But like, I don't think that's something to hate on it for. This is the very start of the series. It's going to be 50 hours, they said. They're going to do 50 episodes. We've got another 48 hours. So I kind of like the fact it's starting a little bit slow. Yeah, the first episode could have been a bit more intriguing, let's say. There could have been more things going on. They could have like made it a bit more clear what the actual story is about. We know Galadriel is on a revenge quest because her brother got killed. I'm not fully sold on her trying to take on the whole Middle-earth and Sauron because her brother got killed. Like, it's a believable storyline because you believe people would do that for revenge, but like really, I feel like they could have come up with a better storyline, but I don't know if this is in the books. I have no idea. Galadriel, for me, as a character, yes, probably isn't the most interesting character at the moment. I actually don't mind her. I do find her interesting, and I also like, after I watched it twice, because I went into this knowing that people are hating on it, and some of the people that are talking about this show are really being quite harsh to the actress, Morfydd Clark, who plays Galadriel, saying that she's the worst thing about it. I would disagree with that. She's not bad. She's just not the most, like, lovable character at the moment. She's quite harsh, she's quite stern, she's very strong, she's very self-obsessed with her own mission. It's almost like she doesn't really care about anybody else apart from herself, and I quite like that dynamic for a lead character, to not just be this hero who's just amazing and all good. I quite like the fact she's a little bit like, you know that she's a good character, she's a good person, and she's trying to do good, but she could turn at any point. And that also links very closely to how Galadriel was portrayed in the original trilogy. Galadriel in Peter Jackson's movies wasn't just so loving and elegant and nice and friendly. There was a really dark side to her, I felt. I wasn't sure when I first watched it if she was going to turn and be evil. She definitely has a part of her that could be evil in any moment, or at least be threatening and scary. And yeah, I feel like Moifa Clark's including that. She's just said in an interview that that's exactly one of the things she took from the original character, and it inspired her for her character, was how Galadriel in the first films did have this like threatening side to her and could turn at any moment. So I like that side of Galadriel in this, and I'm interested to see more. I don't think she's bad at all. She does do some weird things with her eyes. There's some weird moments where she's like this, but like, you know, at the moment it's too early to say, but I don't think she's bad at all. I think Elrond is a really interesting character. He's probably my favorite, him and Doran at the moment. I also really like Arondir. I think it's Arondir, the Black Elf. I really like all these characters. Arondir's storyline's not really clear yet. I don't really know what his storyline is. I'm sure it's going to unfold in the next few episodes, but I really like him. He seems like a really powerful elf. I like how he is. He's really strong, and I just like his character. I can't wait to see more of him. Elrond for me is probably my favorite character, and Doran, the dwarf. I love their relationship. I loved everything to do with Khazad-dûm, where the dwarfs live in the second episode. I loved everything to do with the dwarfs. They're some of my favorite things so far in the series, and I love the relationship between Doran and Elrond. I can't wait to see more of them. Also, Doran's wife, the female black dwarf queen that everyone's been slating because she's black and she hasn't got a beard. Everyone's been going crazy for so long because this woman's been casted as this female dwarf. Supposedly there isn't female dwarfs, and supposedly there is. There's all these arguments. It's just so irrelevant and pointless. She has got a beard anyway, so everyone who's complaining that she didn't have a beard before seeing it, she's got a beard. Yeah, it might only be a little bit of stubble. She's got a beard though, so everyone needs to just shut up before they've seen it, because you don't actually know what you're on about until you've actually watched it. So that's annoyed me a little bit, but I actually really liked her. I thought she was a great actress. I really enjoyed her character. She's very lovable. She's very cute. I really like her on-screen time. I'm more than happy with her being a new character and written into it. It doesn't bother me. And I just feel like it's mad that people are going so mad about it because she's black and she's a female dwarf who's not in the original books. I just don't think it matters at all. And after seeing her, I think she's great. So that's just my opinion. One thing I will say is that I really don't like the design of the elves. The elves don't look like elves to me. They don't feel like elves. They just feel like a load of weird old guys that have just been in a sauna in a steam room, and they've come out and blow dried their hair, and they've put a nice little robe on, and they've gone to a meeting to talk about politics. They just feel like a load of weird old seedy men. They don't feel like powerful elves at all, which is really annoying. Elrond is probably the most sort of believable elf to me, but the rest of them just do not feel like proper elves. I wish that they stuck to the elvish look from Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson's elves, with the long hair and actually feel like elves. I don't know why they haven't done that. Maybe because they're just trying to do their own thing, which is fair enough, but yeah, I really don't like the actual look of the elves. That's one thing that I did not like. Also, the music in this wasn't that good. The music for Khazad-dûm was amazing. I really do love the dwarf music, but everywhere else just doesn't have that strong of a musical presence. There is actually some really nice music in this show. I really do like the music at certain points, and some of it does have definitely inspirations of the original score. There's some moments it sounds like it's going to get into that score, but it just doesn't. But I feel like they need more stronger themes to stand out for like each place, like the original, you know, when we go from the Shire to seeing Gollum to Mordor or whatever's going on, there's always some like really strong iconic theme that stands out, that just blends into the whole Middle Earth as the scenes change. I wish we had a score more like that, but in the minute, it's too early to say. It's just too early to say, but that's another thing that I'm just a little bit like, oh, I wish it was a bit better. So for me, I actually just think that this was a great start. I really did enjoy getting to know all the characters. I loved seeing some of the shots, like when we got to see Sauron and the army of orcs. I loved the first beginning intro where we see the massive battle where Galadriel's brother gets killed. Well, it's unclear exactly if he got killed then or got killed after, because I found out in the books he actually gets killed by some werewolves or something. You actually do see him when he's dead on like the sort of bed where Galadriel takes his blade. He's actually got like these big scratches across his arm, so that might be linked to where he got killed by the wolves. But then again, that was part of the first stage, I think, so I don't think they can show that. I don't know, but these are things I'm starting to learn about. But there's some amazing shots. I loved it where Galadriel goes into I think it's Morgoth's sort of chamber or tower, or I don't know what it is. I think it's something to do with Morgoth or Sauron, and they fight the ice troll. Amazing. I loved it. I really love the shot where the camera comes around and they're all climbing up the ice mountain. Like, it was just so well shot and cinematic. I find it really, really good, and I'm just surprised that people just don't like it. And I just wanted to do this video to just put some light onto this whole thing, to just say it's actually not even that bad at all. It's actually great for me. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, and I'm really, really happy with how it started. I cannot wait to see more of this. I'm so excited to see more. I love it. I'm really, really happy that that it hasn't disappointed me. And yeah, there's just so much hate on this show, and I just wanted to bring some positivity to it. But I would love to know what you all think about this show. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I genuinely would love to know. Please let me know down in the comments what you think to these first 2 episodes so far. I am really interested to know what people think. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, guys, please drop me a like. That would be amazing for me. And if you are new here, then please hit the subscribe button. That would be really appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time on wAFFwORLD.